Good morning, park managers, and welcome back. Today we're going to be making a sauropod enclosure, and this has to be one of my favourite ways of doing it. Now we're going to have like a small watering hole that slightly dips in the centre, and these mounds right here, they will end up being part of decoration to the enclosure. As well, we do the sauropod feeder where we place down a I forget what the name of it is right now. Basically it's for the aviaries. It's where your flyers land on and go and rest. But when you put it inside of one of the plants, it kind of looks like a sauropod feeder, which is really cool and the kind of style I like. I learned this off someone called Legion on YouTube. Definitely a channel to go and check out and make some really incredible builds. But anyways, going back to what I'm doing right now is where I'm going to be making these like planters in a sense. Like when you look at some large herbivore enclosures in zoos today, you'll see that sometimes the plants, trees aren't accessible to the animals within there, either for a few reasons. They don't want them eating them, they don't want them breaking them, because obviously if they break the trees or other big plants, what could happen? It could fall on them, injuring them, things you don't want to happen in a zoo. And I can imagine a big sauropod being something that does a lot of deforestation. You'd want to minimize any kind of injury, scarring to the animals possible. So the way we're going to do this planter, it's just purely for decoration. It's not anything in the sense of like it's there because it needs to meet its tree aspect or anything like that. We're in sandbox, so we don't need to meet that need. And if you're in on challenge mode, I'd imagine you need to do a lot of these to meet that sort of foliage aspect, because sauropods are very demanding creatures in this game, require a lot of plants. So I can't imagine it working in challenge mode. Is maybe something to give a try to see if it does, if you're a challenge mode only player, and will definitely look kind of interesting. Anyways, we're going to be using my favourite brush for doing redwood forests and place a few of those down on the circle, and then go about placing our actual redwood trees. I just feel like redwood trees are just a really pretty tree in this game. It works really well, sauropods as well, with how tall these trees are. It just makes for like an interesting like line of sight. It kind of breaks it up. The sauropods can actually be hidden behind these if they're walking past, so they're not constantly on view to the guests. As well, we add a few green lights in the trees. There's someone in the comments saying, oh, you should add lights in between the trees, it makes it look interesting at night, and especially when the green, it lights off the green as well. So I thought, yeah, you know, I'll give that a try. I'll add that to this enclosure. Is what we're doing right now is adding what I call paths. So in a sense, the sauropods, where the storytelling behind it is they're walking certain lanes. Those lanes are pushing down the grass, exposing the dirt. The grass isn't growing back as much, so you can see where they walk around the enclosure the most. Something you do see in real enclosures as well. You can tell where the animal walks the most. And then we just went around adding small bushes and things like that to the grassy areas where they're not standing on, just to add a bit of texture and depth to the enclosure. And honestly, I really do enjoy making sauropod enclosures like this. As you see there, we've got some beautiful sauropods right there, and they stand out in this enclosure. As you can see, the redwoods are nice and tall. They can't climb in between them, but if they were to go to the back of the enclosure, they'd be slightly hidden from the front line view that the guests have of it. And the feeder again, it looks so cool, especially when you see the sauropods actually eating from it. Unfortunately, it's something you won't be able to do in challenge mode. This is definitely a sandbox only thing to do. I mean, you could do it in challenge mode, but they'd be really annoyed that they've not got enough food. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's giving you some inspiration with your ideas and what you want to build in your parks. And as always, thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.